The morning light was slowly spreading over the buildings of the city, but the night was still dark in Cardi B's heart. She was sitting on the edge of her bed, hands tightly clasped together as if she was keeping herself from falling apart. She did not sleep all night. The world outside was waking up, but Cardi's heart was still weighed down by trapped fears and suppressed truths. The phone was placed in front of her. Repeated messages were appearing on the screen. "Cardi, the media is demanding your answer. We have to say something. This silence is getting dangerous now." But Cardi B just kept staring at that screen. As the words floated over her eyes like mist, she knew there were only two options before her: either to tell the truth, or to continue to sink under the weight. At that moment, the door opened and her sister Hanali entered. The worry was evident on her face. She sat quietly next to Cardi and said, "Cardi, the time has come. You've tried to protect yourself every time, but now the world isn't what it seems." Cardi lifted her head. There was moisture in her eyes, but there was also a quiet anger hidden in them. "People think I scream, I stop live, I exaggerate everything. But no one knows what happened that night, Hanali. No one." Her words faltered, but a decision seemed to be forming within her. On the other hand, Offset was also fighting his own internal battle. He was sitting in the back of the cafe, cap pulled over his face so no one would recognize him. But hiding his identity was no longer possible. The news had spread everywhere. His manager leaned across the table and said in a low voice, "Bro, this is getting out of hand. If Cardi says anything, your career, your image, everything could be destroyed. We have to do something." Offset took a deep breath. There was no regret in his eyes, but a strange fear, agitation, anger, helplessness. "Saul, goddamned. I didn't do anything wrong," he mumbled, but he didn't believe his own voice. Meanwhile, the world's eyes were glued to Cardi B's Instagram. Fan pages, news channels, TikTok creators, everyone was waiting to see when and what she would say. Around noon, Cardi finally picked up the phone. She opened Instagram and put her finger on the Go Live button. Her breathing became faster. Hands began to tremble. Her heart was pounding in her ears. But at that moment, there was a loud knock on the door. Cardi stood up in shock. His bodyguard immediately forbade him to open the door. But the knocking increased, like someone in anxiety, as if someone is pleading. The guard peeked out and immediately retreated. "Cardi, she's here." Cardi's heart stopped for a moment. "Who?" She spoke almost in a whisper. The guard said sternly, "Offset. He wants to see you right away." Cardi's feet sank into the ground. The live button was still on. Her finger was still resting on it. And outside the door, the man was standing, because of which the whole world was shaken at that moment. Cardi now faced the biggest decision of her life. Tell the truth, open the door, or let everything be buried in silence. Offset's voice echoed outside the door, but Cardi B was standing stone inside. Every muscle in her body was trembling, as if there was a ghost standing in front of him that had been following him for years. She took a step forward, then stopped. Her finger was still on the phone screen where the Go Live button was flashing. If she went live now, the world could see everything that happened between them. Perhaps this was what was going on in his heart. Should the truth be brought out in this way? Unveiled direct. The guard came back in and said, "Cardi, he's saying he just wants to talk for a few minutes. Saying he has to clean up." Cardi bowed her head. His breathing became heavy. Cleaning? How many times? How many nights? How pretentious? All that began to float in her mind. Nights when she cried and he came home late for some reason. The day he said he would get better. But the same things, the same wounds. Finally, he turned off the screen of the phone. The live button went off, but the truth boiling in the heart could not stop. "Open the door," Cardi said softly, but there was a hint of broken confidence in her voice. As the door opened, Offset came in with ragged breaths. His face was a mask of worry, fear, and excessive innocence. He couldn't bring himself to meet Cardi's eyes. "Cardi, look, I just don't start." Cardi raised her hand and cut him off. There was a strange calmness in her voice, as if she had come no longer to fear, but to judge. Offset lifted his head, and the moment froze in silence between the two. In that silence was everything that could never be put into words. The pain, the betrayal, the hopes, the promises that were broken every time. You know what the world is saying? Cardi said in a low but clear voice. They're demonizing you. They're calling me weak. And the truth. The truth no one knows. I didn't do all that Offset wanted to say quickly. What did I say? Cardi finished the sentence. Or what you know you did. The Offset went silent immediately. It was a question he hadn't always answered in words, always avoiding making excuses. But for the first time he felt small in front of Cardi. Cardi, I was wrong. But I never you put me in awe, Offset. His voice suddenly rose. Sometimes with screams, sometimes with anger, sometimes with silence. You made my happiness a sacrifice to your ego. Offset tried to move forward, but Cardi backed away. Don't come any closer. Not today. For a moment, only the sound of their breathing remained in the air. Offset had a look of helplessness on his face, as if he himself couldn't understand how things had gotten to this point. Cardi, I don't want to lose you, he said softly. I'm here to fight. For my relationship, Cardi looked him straight in the eye for the first time, and I'm here to fight for the truth. For me, for my children, Offset's eyes widened. Are you going to tell the world all this? Cardi didn't flinch, didn't move her eyes. Yes, not the world. Going to tell myself, Offset gasped. Cardi, stop, no. She spoke in a strong tone. This time, I won't stop. Cardi picked up the phone again. He pressed the live button again. His heart was pounding. And the world was about to hear a truth in the coming moment, which perhaps it had never imagined. After pressing the live button, Cardi's hands shook slightly. But her face no longer contained the same fear that had consumed her just a few hours ago. There was now a fire of determination in his eyes, ready to burn every lie, every deception, every threat. As soon as it went live, comments quickly flooded the screen. Cardi, are you okay? What happened? Is the Offset there? As a storm surged out of his screen and filled the entire room, Offset looked shocked at the woman he once thought was weak. Cardi, are you crazy? Don't do all this online. Cardi glared at him. Crazy? Who's crazy, Offset? The one who is bullied, or the one who threatens. I won't be crazy anymore. People will hear the truth now. Offset tried to grab a hand, but Cardi took a step back. There was a power in her eyes that he had never felt before. Don't touch me. Not now. She turned to the phone camera. She took a deep breath, as if trying to release the burden of years from her heart in one moment. Everyone, I'm going to say something today for the first time that I've never said before. Strengthening her voice, she said, I've endured harassment for a year. A year. And it's not just online hate. It's personal threats, personal intrusions. Every day, every night, every picture, every message, the fear is hidden. And the worst part? It's all by a stranger. She looks at Offset. He's standing there, scared, confused, and angry. All this was done by the man whom I once called my life. Offset's face turned red. Cardi, that's a lie. Shut up. Her voice echoed like lightning. If you did nothing, then why did I have to suffer all this? Why were my children targeted? Why every time I spoke, you tried to stop me? Why every post, every screenshot, every call, every threat led me to you? Offset said, taking on a confused tone. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was angry, okay? I was sad that you went on. Cardi laughed at his sentence, but the laugh contained both pain and bitterness. I've moved on. So why am I being punished for it? Is every woman who decides for her own happiness punished like this? Live's comments, on the other hand, were pouring in like crazy. Record it all. Cardi, call the police. This is getting dangerous. Get the Offset out of the room. Offset reached forward and tried to grab the phone. Stop this live now. You're ruining my name in front of the whole world. Cardi backed away, but her hands were strong. I'm not defaming your name. You did it yourself. I'm just telling the truth. The room was silent for a moment, only the light of the mobile burning between them, and millions of people listening to their breathing. Cardi then uttered the words that shook not only Offset, but everyone watching live. "I gave you one last chance. But today, this attachment, this fear, this silence, all gone. Today, I declare freedom." Offset's eyes widened. "Cardi, don't do that. You know, the world will misunderstand whether the world gets it wrong or right. I will not be a woman who cries in the dark and laughs in front of people today. I am writing my own story." Cardi was breaking at the moment, but she looked stronger than ever. And as soon as she started speaking, a loud voice came from outside the room. The door was pushed open by someone. Both Cardi and Offset looked at the door in shock. The guard came running in, face stern, voice trembling. "Ma'am, both of you back off immediately. The person who came out is that stalker?" Blood froze in the room. The next moment, everything was about to change. There was a sudden deep silence in the room. The guard's voice still echoed off the walls. He's a stalker." Cardi's phone shook in her hand. But she didn't turn off Liv. A storm was raging inside her: fear, anger, helplessness, and the sense that perhaps the danger she had been talking about was now standing at the door. Offset immediately stepped forward and looked at the door, not surprise in his eyes, but a strange fear, as if he knew a secret he never wanted to utter. "Who is it?" Offset asked in a shaky voice. The guard held the door tightly and said, "Ma'am, he's calling your name over and over again, saying he has proofs, and he won't leave without coming in." Cardi's heart stopped for a moment. Evidence of what? Against whom? And most importantly, why was Offset so shocked at this sentence? Offset looked at Cardi, then at the door, as if imagining the wall of some great secret coming down in his mind. "Cardi, stop live," he said angrily. "It's not safe," Cardi said without looking at him. "This Liv is my safety. Millions of people are watching. Whatever's going to happen, it's not going to happen alone." The comments on live had now turned into a storm. "Call 911. Get Cardi out. It's serious. What is the Offset hiding?" That last comment was like a sword to Offset's heart. She reached over and tried to snatch the phone from Cardi's hand, but Cardi backed away in a second. "If you touch my phone, I'll tell you everything right now, Offset. Everything, every message, every threat, every detail." Offset staggered, as if the ground had shifted beneath his feet. For the first time in Cardi's eyes, she wasn't someone who was broken. She was someone who stood ready to bear the burden of the truth. A sudden slap. Slap, slap, came from the door. Someone pounded on the door with clenched fists. The guard peeked out of the crack in the door, then immediately stepped back. "Ma'am, this is the same person you reported. The one who used to comment under your every post. The one who sent you emails, threatening." Cardi's breath stopped for a moment. "How did he get here?" Offset blinked slowly. Cardi saw this and understood immediately. "You gave him the leaves." Her voice was breaking, as if it was going to end in an instant. The Offset remained silent, and that silence was the biggest answer. "Why?" Cardi's voice turned into a scream. "Why, Offset? Why did you push me to this point? My baby, my new son, we're all in danger, and you're silent? Were you involved in all of this?" Offset went a step further. "I didn't tell him to hurt you. I just wanted to stop him from posting about Stefan. I thought he'd be scared. I didn't think he'd come here." Cardi looked at the phone camera, tears welling up in her eyes. But that line inside her was breaking for the last time. "All this, you started it. You stole my life, my sleep, my peace. Now even my safety is not in your hands." At that moment, the door shook violently, as if someone were pushing with all their might. "Ran the guard, ma'am? Stand back. He's breaking down the door." Cardi looked at the Offset, the person she once considered her home. Now that was the biggest threat. The phone was still live. Millions of people watched with bated breath. The door rattled one last time, and there came a voice that was to change everything. "Cardi, I'm here to tell you the truth. The defender stepped, the offset retreated, and Cardi's heart fluttered in her chest